Imagine staring into an abyss so deep and dark that it seems endless. A place where the laws of reality twist, where animals refuse to go near, eerie lights flicker in the depths, and sounds from the past echo through the air. This is Mels' Hole, a mystery buried in secrecy and fear. But when a drone was sent to uncover its truth, it captured something terrifying, something glowing, something alive. What it saw would haunt the world forever. Imagine a hole so deep, so dark, and so strange that it defies all logic. A hole where animals refuse to go near, plants grow unnaturally lush, and radios pick up broadcasts from decades past. A hole that seems to have no bottom, no end, and no explanation. This is Mels' Hole, a place shrouded in mystery, fear, and whispers of the unimaginable. But when a drone was sent to uncover its secrets, it captured something that would haunt the world forever. Something glowing, something alive, something that should not exist. This is the story of Mels' Hole, and what lies beneath it will change everything you think you know about our world. In the rolling hills of Washington State, a man named Mel Waters stumbled upon something that would change his life and terrify the world. It was a hole, not just any hole, but a bottomless pit that seemed to defy the laws of nature. Mel first brought the hole to the public's attention in the 1990s when he called into Art Bell's legendary radio show, Coast to Coast AM. He described a place where the rules of reality seemed to bend and break. Animals avoided it. Birds refused to fly over it. People who stood too close felt dizzy, as if the earth itself was pulling them in. But that was just the beginning. Mel and his neighbors had used the hole as a dump for years. Trash, furniture, even old appliances. Everything disappeared into the darkness without a sound. But things took a terrifying turn when a local threw his dead dog into the hole. A few days later, the dog was seen running through the forest, alive, but different. It was as if it had come back from another world. Then came the lights. Strange, glowing beams shot up from the hole at night, flickering in ways that didn't make sense. Some pulsed, others were steady, cutting through the sky like eerie lanterns. But what scared people the most was the sound, a low hum that sent shivers through their bones. Determined to understand the mystery, Mel began conducting experiments. He lowered candy tied to a fishing line into the pit, hoping to find water. But when he pulled the line back up, the candy was dry as dust. Confused but fascinated, he kept going. He unspooled thousands of feet of fishing line, but it just kept going deeper. No bottom, no splash, just more darkness. It didn't make sense. How deep could a hole possibly be? Word spread fast, and people came from all over to see the bottomless pit for themselves. But not long after, the government got involved. Helicopters hovered over Mel's land. Military trucks blocked the roads. Officials in dark suits told Mel he was no longer welcome on his own property. They said it was for safety reasons, but no one believed them. What had they found down there? Mel fought to get back to his land, but the military wasn't budging. When he tried pushing back, a strange man in a suit warned him to stop asking questions. "Talk all you want," he said with a smirk. "Nobody will believe you." Then came the strangest part. One day, Mel's radio picked up an old baseball game from decades ago. He checked every station, but they all played old broadcasts, music, news, events from the past. It was like the airwaves had been thrown back in time. But how? Was the hole messing with time itself? Locals had their own theories. Some thought the pit was a gateway to another world. Others believed it was connected to underground civilizations. A few even suggested that whatever fell inside might not be lost. It might just be sent somewhere else. But just as people were starting to dig deeper into Mel's hole, Mel himself disappeared. He was supposed to give another radio interview, But when the time came, he was gone. No calls, no messages, no sign of where he had gone. Some believed he had been silenced. Others thought he had been bribed to stay quiet. And a few whispered that maybe, just maybe, he had fallen into the hole himself. Years later, a rumor spread that Mel had been offered millions to leave the country and never speak of the hole again. He vanished without a trace, and the military kept the area locked down. Whatever was down there, they didn't want anyone to find out. Even now, people still talk about Mel's Hole. Some claim to have found old maps marking the area. But when they visit, the land looks untouched, as if the hole never existed. Others believe it's been hidden on purpose, buried under layers of secrecy. But the stories won't go away. A hole that deep, that dark, that strange, it's hard to ignore. And the question remains: what was down there, and who or what wanted to keep it a secret? The mystery took a terrifying turn when a drone was sent into the hole. The goal was simple: uncover the truth. But as the drone descended into the abyss, something went wrong. The signal began to falter, the video feed growing staticky and distorted. And then, just as the drone was about to vanish into the darkness, it sent back one final image. Something glowing, something alive, something that should not exist. The image was blurry but unmistakable, a strange, otherworldly light deep within the hole. And then, the drone was gone, vanished without a trace. The image haunted everyone who saw it. What was that light? Was it a creature? A portal? A warning? The questions only deepened the mystery. And then came the whispers. People who lived near the hole began reporting strange sounds, voices, echoes, as if something was trying to communicate from below. Some claimed to have seen strange creatures climbing out of the hole, only to be taken away in secret military trucks. Others said they felt an overwhelming sense of dread whenever they got too close, as if the hole itself was alive. Just when the story seemed like it couldn't get any stranger, an unexpected twist came. A Native American tribe from Nevada contacted Mel after hearing about his discovery. They had a similar phenomenon, a hole with no bottom, and they thought Mel might be able to help. Excited by this new adventure, Mel headed to Nevada to investigate. This second hole was different. It was on public land, not tribal land, and it was surrounded by ancient stone structures. The locals believed it was a sacred place, a gateway to another world. Mel noticed something strange as soon as he arrived. A strange warmth coming from the hole. When he dropped a tool onto the metal lining the inside, there was no sound. It was as if the sound had been swallowed by the abyss. The locals and Mel began conducting experiments. They lowered a bucket of ice down to 1,000 feet, keeping another batch above ground to compare. When they brought the bucket back up, the ice on the surface had melted, but the ice from the depths was still solid, warm and dry like blocks of salt. When they tried to melt this odd ice with heat, something even stranger happened. It caught fire and burned for a long time. Curiosity grew, and the locals decided to lower a sheep into the hole. The sheep fought hard against being lowered, as if it knew something was wrong. The team carefully lowered a crate with the sheep down the well, aiming for a depth of 1,000 feet. Suddenly, the rope stopped moving, and an eerie feeling filled the air. A strange humming noise surrounded them. After leaving the sheep down there for 30 minutes, they pulled the crate back up. At first, everything looked normal. But when they looked closer, they saw the sheep was dead. The locals examined the sheep's insides and found something alarming, a huge growth that took up most of its body. Things got even weirder when the growth started moving on its own. Shocked, they decided to cut open the growth, revealing something that looked like a baby seal. But not quite. Its eyes looked very human. The seal-like creature moved itself to the edge of the table, and Mel felt it wanted to go back to the well. Despite its slimy texture and strange smell, Mel carried it close to the well. In a quick moment, the creature jumped back into the dark well. Mel's encounter with the seal-like creature changed his life. He had been dealing with a serious cancer diagnosis, but after the encounter, his health began to improve miraculously. He believed the creature had somehow healed him. But the story didn't end there. The locals began sharing their own stories about the magical seal, seeing it as a positive force connected to the mysterious powers of the pit. Colorful birds started to gather around the hole, and the locals believed they were a sign, a blessing from the magical seal. But the true nature of Mel's hole remains a mystery. The government's involvement, the strange experiments, the glowing light, the seal-like creature, it all points to something beyond our understanding. The hole is still out there, hidden under layers of secrecy. And the question remains, what lies beneath? Is it a gateway to another world, a portal through time, or something even more terrifying? One thing is certain, Mel's hole is a mystery that will haunt the world for generations to come. And as the stories continue to spread, one can't help but wonder, what else is down there, waiting to be discovered? Mel's hole is more than just a story. It's a phenomenon that challenges everything we think we know about our world. From the strange experiments to the government's involvement, from the glowing light to the seal-like creature, it's a mystery that continues to captivate and terrify.